Alrighty, during my trip to Chicago for the Pinball Expo, I was lucky enough to be invited by Stern Pinball to their headquarters, where deep inside I was able to find a private pinball arcade where I was able to rub shoulders with some of the great people at Stern Pinball making these games, including Kyle Spiteri.
So I started my pinball journey by buying a broken game when I was 18 in Castro Valley, California. And through the extremely generous group of pinball people in the Bay Area, I quickly became immersed and realized that my skills I had in repairing motorcycles and mechanical stuff translated over into fixing a mechanical game. And the brilliant thing about pinball to me is it combines like three of my favorite things: electronics, mechanical things, and games. And it just took over my life. I love pinball. I started working at Stern because I have a strong background in repair and the working of pinball, and I'm extraordinarily lucky that they picked me up to give me a job, working and helping the people that make these games. It's important with the licenses that we're able to obtain to create these games spread far and wide, right? James Bond, right? The history of James Bond, going back to the first films in the 60s to, a modern day interpretation of Venom, right? To rock and roll, the Foo Fighters, Elvira, right? The things that we're able to turn into games, it spans a huge net, right? So it should appeal to a lot of people. A lot of people, though, do not understand pinball, and they don't understand that there's goals, right? That's always my favorite thing to take video game people and explain to them that, no, there are objectives in pinball. It can be frustrating to learn how to play pinball, but as you learn the rules and how the game tries to communicate with you to have you achieve those, objectives, it's a fun challenge, right? I always think of pinball also being as an extremely democratic game because you always lose, right? There is always a force that you cannot win against, and that's gravity. So it's your job to keep that ball in play as long as you can and then, compete for score, right? So people always ask me, what are the first things I should learn about pinball? Flashing lights. If the light is flashing, the game is trying to get you to send the ball there. It might be telling you that maybe in the arcade or the bar you're playing in you can't hear, but that's what it wants you to do. So learn to keep the ball in play and shoot the flashing lights. I won't take credit for a lot of working on X-Men, but Jack Danger, who worked and designed the X-Men game, he's a really collaborative guy and asking about ideas. That's what's really neat about working in such a creative environment like Stern Pinball, is because there's a lot of collaboration in the sense of hey, how does this feel? Or is this good? Right? That's objective, I guess. So not everyone's idea of good is the same, but it's fun to be able to give your opinion, right? And have it be taken into consideration, right? How does this shot feel? Does that feel good? Does that give you that, that yes feeling when you make that shot, when you watch that ball do a loop, right? And that's why there's a different game for different people, right? I like really nerdy strategy games on my PC that require me to take account of spreadsheets and read numbers and do math, where a lot of people get turned off by that and they want to play side scrollers or something maybe with a deep story, right? There's a different kind of pinball game for every player. Maybe some game is more like a target sniper, right? Where you gotta trap that ball up, find that shot, call it, and hit it. Maybe you're a flow kind of player where you like to hit the ball and keep it in motion all the time, and those long, smooth loops and those ramps that, have quick travel times back to the flipper or more for you. That's another thing about pinball, right? Every game is different. You might step up to them and see it's there's two flippers and then there's two slingshots and then some other things. But every game is different and will play different.
Now, one of the things Stern has developed that is just so sick, that is just, I think, not just adding to the complexity of the table, but, bringing in people, new people, is the Insider Connect feature that they've added and everything.
Yeah.
Can you talk just a little bit about it, and also what some of your favorite examples, automatically, obviously the new thing with John Wick, the contracts, things like that, such a sick way to be able to utilize it.
Yeah.
Can you just talk about a couple of your favorite maybe ways it's been utilized?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, with our Insider Connected system, using your QR code in your profile to scan into the game, and it will track your progress, award badges, keep track of scores that you've had. In some games, such as Venom, the game actually will save state. If you reach a certain state, this is one of my absolute favorites. If you reach a certain state in Venom, if you're able to get to your first tier of boss battle, and you drain out on ball 3, the next time you log in, you can start from that saved progress. And it helps players that are of average skill level like me achieve like the end game state, right? Where I can see the end, I can fight that final boss. Where in some games, maybe such as Jurassic Park, like, I've never done Isla Nublar.
Isla Nublar. Yeah, I got that one.
Thank you. But you know, some of these final wizard modes that are for like the best cream of the crop players, right? It's a different way to play the game, right? And other like simple things like, I mean, there's a mode in Jaws where the team made an 8-bit mode where you play as the shark. In the game, as you play, you'll collect shark teeth, and those are attached to your account. Oh, what do I do with these shark teeth, right? I'm a bounty hunter. Well, now there's a couple modes in the game where if you sign in, you can select an alternate game mode, and now you can play Jaws: The Revenge, where you play as a shark. It's all 8-bit, and it is wild. Yeah, so there's some really cool features to change pinball, right? To bring pinball into the 21st century, because it essentially has been kind of the same game since the 40s. How do you innovate, right? Bring it online. You know, Chicago is the home of pinball. It is the pinball capital of the world, right? Back in the past, every manufacturer had their factory here, and through our lineage of Data East Pinball to Sega Pinball to Stern Pinball, we've been based in Chicago. There's a huge community of people that just are rabid for pinball. We have so many arcades and so many locations. Chicago Pinball Expo is the biggest industry event in the year. People fly from all over the world to come to Chicago Pinball Expo to be able to talk to people that work in the industry, that make their favorite games, to have these, you know, one-on-one conversations that just wouldn't be possible otherwise. We're lucky to have a big presence there to support our games, to support the people that come out to see our games. A huge community comes here. I'm so lucky to be able to walk around Expo and meet people I've known online for years, or people that have just gotten into pinball and they recognize me from maybe some of the repair videos I do for Stern. But yeah, we're lucky too with the resurgence of locations to play. Like, yes, the downfall of the traditional arcade, you know, in the last 6-7 years, the rise of an arcade bar has gotten big. Pinballs and breweries now, but I think we've also seen the rise of like dedicated arcades again too. There's people that have these huge collections of pinball games, video games, and well, what do I do with them? Well, put them out to the public. But yeah, it is a social game, because you and I could sit here and play this, drink a beer, play pinball for an hour, and have a conversation, but also be engaged in a game.
I had so much fun in Chicago at the Pinball Expo. Please check out all of our other videos from the event on our channel, and please go to patreon.com/easyallies to become a supporting member. The dollars you donate today will create the videos of the future.